Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this evening's broadcast from the Maverick Cup Series here at the High Voltage Racing League. Today's date, April 15th, 2025. My name is Blaine Donlin, joined by the illustrious Rod Weston. Good evening, sire. How are you doing today?
Oh, just great, buddy. Just great. Loving the weather. Nice, beautiful day out. I'm loving it when it gets closer to the summertime. We're here at Dover, Delaware. Fourth race of the season. I'm not sure how the points go, but I do know that Jack Merkel is going for 3 in a row. And I was told earlier that has never been done in this league. So that would be an interesting thing to keep an eye on. And Matt Jack Merkel's always kind of running around the other front to see how he does today.
Really, ain't never been done at Maverick. A three-peat. Interesting, yeah, because the Daytona is where we started, and that was won by Keith Hughes. And then it's been Merkel wins Vegas, and Merkel won last week at
Forget where we were.
Richmond.
Richmond.
I'm looking right at it. Richmond, yeah. So that's cool. That's pretty neat.
I know we had a busy weekend because we did the ALS race this last weekend, so we have a lot going on with that. That was a great event too, and I'm sure that everybody wants to go and support that. The links are still open for that. It's a great cause. It was a really good race.
Yeah, super cool race. Always fun working with Kelly Causey, setting those up. One a year is all you get, so it's a lot of work for Kelly. He pulled that off amazingly. But yeah, that's on the channel if you want to check that out. Coming up here, you can see next week we got the week off. The week after that, we will be at Talladega Super Speedway, and then we're going to Sonoma.
Oh boy!
So we go from the biggest track to a track we got to do a couple left-hand turns.
Yeah, turning to the right is not always fun, but I guess it is all right on a road course. I took a few laps out here earlier, and this is a little bit different version of Dover. Most of the time, Dover is a tire eater. You will see every time a caution flag comes out, most of the time everybody will come down pit road, especially unless you had like a few laps. You may get a few people just stay up with track position, but you don't want to be out there with older tires. We'll probably see tonight if we get some green flag stops that people will maybe come in a little early, do what they call short pitting, get out there, they'll get fresh tires, and all of a sudden you'll see one car just rolling past everybody. That's how Dover plays out. This one here, like I said, I believe it's a little bit grippier. The outside groove works pretty good, so it'll be interesting to see if they can make some passes out there on the outside. It seems like it's a good track, though.
I think this is gripped up a little bit. I remember seeing race control when you log into the server. It says that grip and tire wear have been modified. So,
and that's not a bad thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's not a bad thing for Dover.
No, it's a fun track. They call it the Monster Mile for a reason. It's really fast. We're only being 1 mile long. This is a crazy. It's going to be a crazy race. It's always exciting.
And it's a self-cleaning track. Now, what's that mean? Well, basically, that the track is such a high bank track that people are going to go in the corner. And things that happen, they're going to go to the high side of the track, but eventually they're going to go to the bottom because they're going to slide down the banking. So, a lot of times it's not always the best thing to do, but you try to see something happen, you might just want to go to the high side because the track's going to clean itself off.
Now, I noticed they've got I'm trying to think of Dover. There is a lot of versions of this track. I don't know if I've ever raced this one. I can't remember if is pit road entrance really narrow? Like you've got an inside wall to your left that's like a concrete wall, and there's only 10 feet to the right of your car. Otherwise, you're back on the racing surface. I recall that about Dover's pits.
Probably one of the hardest tracks to come down pit road on under green flag conditions. This pit road speed is 40 miles an hour, which is pretty good. The original version of the track is 30 miles an hour. So that makes it tough. The pit boxes are relatively small, so it's harder to get in and out of your pits, and it's not very wide, and the track's not very wide itself. So it's one of those things. If we ever now get into some green flag pit stops, you'll probably now get in cautions because that wall sticks right there at the end of turn 4. If we get a chance to see it tonight, you want to watch that. people will come off there, and if they're trying to pit and they do it too late, they might catch into that retaining wall, and that pretty much will end their night.
Yeah, I wonder if I can get a shot of it here. Let's see. I'll line the camera up. See if we can get it. Oh yeah, I got it set here. Pit road camera. You can see what we're talking about, how this can be a little bit heinous. You know, cars will be going to be coming off the banking. You can see those little stripes on the bottom, and they've got to get in there super quick, get slowed down before that yellow line, and don't miss, because you're gonna find that wall pretty quick.
You can see those dots or the lines there on the track. The bottom of the track is 3, 2, 1. That's kind of a countdown point so that you can figure out where you are and where you get into the pits. But you want to be letting the guy behind you know that you're coming in, and you want to be getting right down to that bottom. Which it's like we always talk about the delta time when you go to pit. It's, you know, if you can get in there and get to that pit road speed limiter the fastest and get down there at 40 miles an hour, get your service and get back out, and then do the same thing on the other end, you're going to make up a lot of time. But time can be gained here and lost here, but it could be very dangerous all at the same time.
I wonder, has there ever been a fatality with maybe not a fatality? We would have heard about that, but like there's been some serious accidents with these walls, right? Matt
Kenseth has hit it here at Dover. The only thing that was the only one accident that I really say that in recent times that shocked me as far as hitting a wall, but that was, I believe, at Texas, where Mark Martin got loose trying to avoid something in front of him at the exit of turn 4, come down pit road, overcorrected, and ended up hitting an opening in the pit road wall that they have where the guys go over the wall, and just basically piercing the car right behind his seat.
Oh, like he slid sideways on the wall, skewered him.
Yep. And right behind the driver is the oil reservoir. So the Cup cars run what they call a dry sump pump. So in your typical road car, you got an oil pan at the bottom. The oil will drip down to the bottom underneath everything as it gets used up. And then an oil pump will pick it up and recirculate it through the motor. And the dry sump, there is no oil down there. Yes, the oil does go down there, but it's pumped right out real quick. It goes to a cooler, and then it goes to a capacity or like a reservoir. And the reservoir is about probably 14 gallons. So basically what that does is they're not running, let's say, 7 quarts of oil. They're basically running 14 to 15 quarts of oil or more in some cases. And what that does is it allows them to run longer times with that oil.
Oh. Huh. And that's right behind the driver, you're saying?
Yeah, and they put it right behind the driver. Mind you, it's not in the driver's compartment itself, but it is directly behind the driver right there.
Yeah, could consider that a little close for comfort.
Yep. So when he pierced that, there was hot oil all over the place. Very fortunate that it didn't catch on fire.
Molten oil inside the car. That's cool.
Well, you figure the oil temperature is going to be probably anywhere from 200 to 240 degrees.
Yeah.
That's pretty warm.
Just got the pit lane camera set up here watching these guys try to miss that wall.
A few of them will hit it.
This is the first race, or sorry, the fourth race of the season, the 2025 season here at Maverick. So thank you very much for watching Tarnation TV's broadcast. We're doing every race for these guys every Tuesday. As you can see there, we had in, let's see, the 27th of April, which is a Sunday, the 5th annual Cannon Hinnant Memorial Race and gun violence. We're doing that with Brian Wolf of Fluid Studios. ASR, a league that's been around a very long time, is hosting that event. Last week when we did the ALS benefit race with Kelly Causey, Rolling Thunder Gaming was hosting that event. And yeah, a lot of quality leagues doing some quality racing, and we just so happened to cover lots of it. So stay tuned for that one. It'll be pretty cool with Ken. I'm working with Brian right now, getting the whole broadcast set up for that one. And it's a custom version of Michigan. Has been completely retextured and reworked, and That's where Tarnation TV Studios is. You see those in the intros sliding around on your screen sometimes. So that was pretty awesome. Brian sent me the track. He goes, I think you'll dig this one, flying around in free cam and seeing all the Tarnation TV stuff. We have our own building, so that's pretty cool. We'll be broadcasting from that track, right from the track itself. So that'll be a lot of fun. And Michigan's a cool track too. It's like 9 lanes wide, and
depending on what version it is, yeah. There's different versions of them out there, and some of them are good, some of them aren't. But I'm sure
that's
they've got
true.
Now, I do want to state a fact that if people seem to think that Blaine is just following, blue Toyotas that have got this V-duct thing on them, and he's following the same guy. No. There's about 4 of them out there that are painted exactly the same, just different numbers. So that's something to keep an eye on. There's a whole bunch of cars out there tonight that are painted exactly the same.
Yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, all teammates, and like I said, we got to keep our eyes peeled for the numbers, because that's going to be interesting to try to keep track of all that.
I just noticed that one of them is not a Toyota.
That won't be Javier Negron, because if Javier ever races, I don't think he races in this league, but he's always running a Toyota.
It's a Pontiac. Matt McIntyre is in a Pontiac. Same paint scheme.
You can tell these guys are getting near the end of happy hour when it starts turning into a demolition derby.
You trying to say they're getting warmed up?
Or that too could happen. Yep.
Yeah, here we go.
As we do here every week at
remember, one switch at a time, turning your stuff on.
Maverick, we have a special guest Grand Marshal to make the call. This is Mike Betzler from Big Mike's Roadshow here on YouTube. Thank you, Big Mike.
Okay,
take it away.
Fired up here.
Drivers, start your engines!
Thanks to Big Mike. That was pretty rad. That dude was right into it.
Yeah, you got right into that.
Yeah. You check him out on YouTube there. Big Mike's Roadshow. I wrote it down, and now I can't see it. Oh, yeah. Big Mike Roadshow. Yeah.
Josh McCurrow takes the pole with the old caddy, the pink and blue Cadillac.
I'm gonna show off.
Jack Merkel, one that's going for 3 in a row on the outside row. Keith Hughes behind him. And Tyler, I think it's Tyler. 18, Tyler Kingston. In that progressive Toyota Camry. And starting in 4th.
Oh, I just put that overlay up on screen of Blaine Dolan and Rod Wester, your host. Next live broadcast over Motor Speedway right now. Clearly, I forgot to update that portion. We will be at Talladega in 2 weeks.
Talladega would be a fun one to watch.
The one thing I forgot to update on the broadcast.
That's all good.
But that'll be all right. People will figure it out, because that's why I got this screen to show you where we are. The 29th of April, Talladega Super Speedway.
We went green there. Jack Merkel got a pretty good run on that high side. I think that high side's going to be a little bit more grip-free. Takes the lead away from Josh McCurrow on the start there. A lot of guys got a little wheel spin in it. This is one of those tracks that you really want to start in second. Sometimes people even go to third gear just because it's so easy to spin the tires on the starts.
Yeah. And one's pretty stacked, eh? Like, it's a pretty peppy ratio. You don't want to start in first.
And it's easy to spin the tires. We got a caution out on the track. I'm not sure what happened.
An accident. It's probably a competition yellow. We do those every third of a lap. We throw one. Grab a drink and get comfortable. Now we'll go back here in time and see if we can find out what happened. The easiest way for me to do that is just lock onto the pace car and see when he turns his lights on. Yeah, this is, like you said too, this is a grippy track, but definitely you still have to let your stuff get warmed up. That's the problem. Lap 1, you can't really get too randy with the, well, it looks like Josh 2 going around out there. Who's the number 6? Tate Dorsey. Well, we got a bunch of cars on the back straightaway there.
The top side, but I can't see the numbers there yet, but kind of looks like somebody got a little loose and there was little love taps and people going around, and then when the other drivers come by through, got caught up in it.
Yeah,
Josh too was one of the ones that got caught up in it. And
looks like Shannon Milliken in the 17. Oh, Mark got down on the apron and washed right up in front of the 17.
see, that's the thing you got to watch out from here because you're on such a high bank.
Yeah.
The bottom down there is a big transition. You drop that left side tire down there, it will unload the car in a hurry.
Yeah, it shot that car right up there. The 27 of Mark Snyder.
You still have a few new people too this week. Some of the guys that didn't make the qualifying. I don't know how many drivers actually tried to start the race tonight.
Yeah, it's a full house again. We've got 39 cars started the race. A couple of slots, of course, are reserved for broadcasters. So it's saying we've got a 43 person server, and it's full because there's Rod and myself, and then we actually have the number 97, which is an off-track administrator tonight.
Yeah, then you've got the server takes up a slot too. So
right. So we got some administrators off the track as well, watching, help run the show with because we do have administrator controlled yellows here.
It's off on the pace car. It's turning down on pit road.
And the 129 is an unfamiliar face here too.
So
Rich Roy.
We weren't paying attention because we were so busy looking at trying to figure out the caution and everything. Jack Merkel pitted from the lead.
Okay.
Big wheel spin on the start of that one. Here, cars everywhere. That's the downside to Dover. Something like this happens, it's just a parking lot. Nobody has anywhere to go.
That's not a parking lot. There's lots of room to get around. Look at, there's a spot right there.
Yeah.
Randy Waugh found it.
Yep. Two guys on the front row, which was Josh Puro and I think it was Tyler Kingston. Both kind of just wheel spun wicked bad.
Trey Kinsley, you said? Trey Kinsey?
I think so. 18.
18, yeah, we'll back it up there. Trey Kinsey, yeah.
Both kind of got wheel spin on it. I didn't see if they started in first gear either, because that is a potential way of having an issue. Is if they started in first gear, it's good.
Oh, they both did. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy. And then they just blocked the track because they're selfish.
Yep.
Look,
yeah.
You
just
guys
wanted
aren't
to make
going
a parking
anywhere.
lot out of it.
You guys aren't going anywhere. No.
The next question I would have: did Jack Merkel make it through all that?
You know what? This replay right here, this might be my desktop. This might be my desktop wallpaper. That's pretty crazy.
There you go.
It's very colorful.
You can do that? How would you take that? Oh yeah, Jack Merkel made it through there just fine on the high side.
You want me to? I can make you a desktop wallpaper if you want. Just take a picture.
That'd be perfect.
Take a screenshot. That's very surprising that both guys on the front row actually both did a cold tire spin. And it's like, yeah, that is, I'd like to say that's a pretty rare occurrence for that to happen.
Glad to see Jessica Shelton. She's a fellow broadcaster out there tonight.
Yeah.
She hadn't been here all season. She's finally got back in there. And
she's running the 10, but it's not the 10. It's the 010.
010.
Yeah.
With the Best Buy. I think that's it. Was it a Ford or a Dodge? I don't remember now.
It is a Ford.
Ford, yep. She's talking about. We were talking the other day, and we were talking about doing she wanted to do a special scheme for me. So.
Oh, she a painter?
She has somebody painting it for her.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we were talking go-kart stuff, and so she always into women getting into racing and stuff like that. So
yeah,
my teammate happens to be a young female that does very, very well. Her and I are going to be fighting for a championship this year, so she might do some sort of tribute to her. It'd be interesting to see if she gets that done and when it comes out. And she said she wants to bring it out here at Maverick.
Oh, that's awesome. So wait, the young lady you race with, do you race against her?
Yep.
On the same track?
Yep. That's my teammate, yep.
She's your teammate, so you race together at the same time, but she's like 10.
This one's, she's 15. Teammate.
Oh, okay. You were talking about somebody else then.
The one that I was talking about today is a little girl that races over there. Getting ready to go back green here.
Yeah. I see. You're talking about a couple people.
Oh, well, there's approximately 125 carts there every Sunday.
Wow.
So, a lot of young girls, a lot of young kids, which I think is the greatest, and I'm always willing to help them out. And
oh, yeah.
so she saw Josie's cart is got pink rims on them. I powder coated those. She saw that, and she saw my green ones that I did, and she's really big on green, so we did hers in green today.
Nice.
Got a new leader, Jonathan Peavy.
Yep.
The car that started that, as on the bottom sides there, was the 32 of Zachary Hall. Got, a little bit of wheel spin and kind of backed up the inside line a little bit. Jonathan was able to sneak past there, get by him and get out and take out the lead. We're under caution again. I didn't see what happened.
An accident.
See, we got cars,
you.
about 3 or 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 cars in turn 4. Some hit the wrong direction.
I like how you counted those.
As I was going by, they just kept adding more cars because there were more cars involved that I see.
We'll get you a
only
replay
retirement
here.
so far is Mark Snyder, one of the 2 Kias that were in the field tonight.
Well, it looks like we've got multiple accidents here because we can see here the 17 of Milliken gets into the back of the 42, but there's actually an accident in front with Ulysses Sandoval. I don't know if anybody told Ulysses, but the tires are actually supposed to be facing down, not up in the air. It's upside down. Yeah, something happened in front of Ulysses. He was actually locking up the brakes. It looked like he was trying to get to the pits.
He might have had to serve a black flag or something.
Yeah, the 37 was actually... I'm trying to find what happened to start this whole thing. 37 right now here in this replay, running in 13th position, gets loose in the corner. Yeah, and everybody starts checking up for that. Wait a second. Who's that car? Maybe it was the 14.
Sure it wasn't a duck car?
No. The 14 was sideways.
There was a few people sideways.
Yeah. Oh, the 14 may have... And the 23 of Gravois got underneath the 14, spun the 14 out. Everybody was checking up for the 14, and that caused everything, I think.
That's the problem with Dover, is there's not a lot of place to hide.
No.
Things happen. Track, as we've seen so far, the track can very easily get blocked.
And that's the thing, if one guy, and then you see it, because it is such a short track, you see something around the corner in front of you, so everybody's now trying to find the best route to avoid it, and then it just ends up causing that domino effect, causing wrecks all the way through.
That's the thing, is the best way to get around most of the accidents here is by going to the high side, but it depends on when you approach the accident, because everybody, inertia is going to put everybody out to the wall first, and then they'll come down to the bottom.
Right, you're saying go high because the 24-degree banking in the turns is just shove everybody back down.
Yep. Like I said, self-cleaning track.
Yeah. But when you're crashing too, you're usually on the brakes, so you don't slide around.
So our was leader, Jonathan Peavy, now is back in 18th. He pitted. Just to keep an eye on Jack Murray. That is currently in 9th place. Want to kind of keep an eye on him tonight. He's going for 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Never been done like we talked about before, so every once in a while we're going to keep an eye on him. Back to green.
Fran Gomez.
Few spinners. Austin the Plant spun the tire a little bit, but they got away all right. Just a few of them got a little slippery.
Oh, the 32 a Hall looking underneath Gomez. Overdrove it just a little bit maybe, but he's still there. Moderate damage tonight too, so cars can take a little bit of a beating. Not too much.
Yeah, sometimes it's good. I've always been on the fence of that. The moderate damage is great because you can take a little damage and still be relatively competitive.
Yeah.
But and people have different theories on that. Myself, as the 32 is looking for the lead on the bottom, coming on the exit of turn 2.
Might get it.
Zachary Hall has got his nose out. He's got a clear now.
Slide job.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a little contact there or whatever. It looked like they just might have touched, which sent the Frank Gomez up the track just a little bit. He's going to lose about 2 positions, maybe 3, maybe 4. He's stuck on that high groove.
Down to 4th, yeah. From 1st to 4th.
And it really depends, too. Some people, this track may be a little bit grippier on that high side, but some people just struggle trying to run a high groove. Me, I've always loved to run the high groove. So, if there's a track, you talked about running the Michigan track, I've always loved racing at Michigan VR in an open setup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a track I like racing high the whole time, yeah.
But I am no further than 3 feet off the wall all the way around the whole track.
Even at Michigan, even like across the front straightaway too?
Yep.
Just stay right up there, right?
Stay right up there.
High line all the live long day.
Yeah.
Got some cars in the way here.
Cars.
Green is...
Behind,
oh my God.
Whoa. I don't know. I didn't see if he made it through that or not.
I don't think so.
He kind of pulled up in front of the field there. I thought maybe he got a little bit of it, but I don't know. Now we're kind of, you got to kind of keep track of what's going on here. We've got a lot of lap down cars.
This is the cool down because they should have thrown yellow up there because Ulysses got chewed up.
Ooh.
There's cars going into the stratosphere right there.
The 00 or 000, but the 00. Just wanted to see if his pilot's license still worked.
Yep.
He was doing a great job flying.
Yep.
Beat the car up pretty bad. He's on pit road trying to get that fixed.
So this is what they call the caution cool down. They've got a few cautions in a row. They don't pull them for 5 or 6 laps.
It's a different approach.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of on the fence of whether I think it's something that works or not. Obviously, it does limit the amount of cautions that you have.
Mm-hmm.
But I always look at, I guess some people say they look at the cup half empty, or I look at it half full. I kind of look at it half empty and say, well, if that happens and they announce it, sometimes I think people get a little bit too aggressive with the bumper, knowing there's not going to be a caution.
And Fran Gomez has retaken first place position. He's just showing you how to get around lap traffic. This is amazing watching him do this. Just going around people, using the whole track, wall to wall, finding a way.
Ooh, Benjamin Snyder and 22. Tyler trying to catch that number because it's one of the duck cars.
22, that'll be Michael Norman. That's Seth Cole's co-host there at FRN.
Just all happened so quick. Just a little bit of contact, and the next thing you know, everybody was zigzagged all over the place. And it looks like Benjamin Snyder is parking it.
Okay, we're going to get on here.
Jack
Locked
Merkel
on
made
to
his way up
Norman.
to second.
Oh,
I know.
Norman.
Ooh,
They were trying to get around Ben Snyder. He was way under power, Ben was. That caused a stack. Michael able to regain control of it. That was pretty awesome. Show off.
so I'm trying to see how many of them. The top 5 or 6 pitted. Top 5 so far. Might get somebody, you know, that's still in the lead lap, stay out, maybe, and, you know, try to lead a lap and then go in and get their tires, but
Yeah, because this is a long season, so it is all about the points. Retired cars this evening: Mark Snyder, Shannon Milliken, Jessica Shelton, unfortunately out with an engine failure. Aflu Panisia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, has retired. Benjamin Snyder is out as well. A couple of black flags on the track right now, Norman and Kinsey.
Afu was the one that had the was testing out his pilot license skills.
Oh, yeah, that'll make
He
it.
was probably 15 car lengths straight up in the air.
Oof. Do you want to see if we can get Jack up here? We'll talk to him.
You want Jack Merkel?
See if we can find him here.
You might have to do your Jack Merkel impression because he's got his microphone off again.
Jack, you got us? Live on the air, buddy. It's your chance. I can do a pretty good Jack Merkel impression.
Yeah, you did a good job last time. I think you should do it again.
All right, well, interview Jack. Rod, go ahead.
Okay, so Jack, you're going for three in a row. You've been running up front, then kind of going to thins, coming back up, working your way back up the front. What is the possibility?
If you would
of
just
going
stop talking, I'll answer your gosh darn questions there. Yeah, no, we're going to win. And right now I'm in second in points. I have no idea how. But every single race for the rest of the season, we are going to win. So I'm Jack Merkel. Champion.
Pretty confident.
Very confident. I got to get back to racing. Thanks, guys. Thanks,
That was
Jack.
Jack Merkel.
Straight to the point, man.
Very, very to the point.
Wow. I could have swore he was in here with us.
Currently, he's going to be starting on the restart, depending on how many of the cars in front of him stay out and still pit. I think everybody went in and pitted. He's currently 8th place right now. So I know we keep mentioning him, keep bringing it back to him, but, you know, it's a big thing trying to go for 3 in a row. We just want to keep an eye on him, where he's doing, how he's doing.
And that's the thing. He's won 2 of the races, but he still is 6 points behind first place, which is Keith, I do believe. Let's check.
Keith Hughes is the first place man. Yep.
We got to do. Yeah, Keith is in first with 505 points. Jack right behind him with 499, and then Anthony McCurry with 433. And keep in mind too, you can walk out of a race with 185 maximum points, I believe.
Believe it, if you win the race, lead the most laps, and of course you led a lap, you will get 185 points.
Yeah, because it's 175 for the win, which turns into 180 because you have to lead a lap to win.
Yep.
And then leading the most laps gets you that extra 5 again.
Yep.
And here at Maverick, they don't have a custom points setup. They run what the export gives.
Yep.
Am I missing something here? Where's the pace car? Oh, there he is.
Hey, okay. That was a late start. I was watching
weird.
that. Yeah. I've seen
that
that happen a few times in the game. It just has a late start. To the
Yeah,
fresh
because
tires.
the yellow flag, the flagman still had the yellow flag out, but there was no pace car out there. He was already on the pits.
Yeah. The flagman pulled the flag late. Excuse me.
Are we out again? Yeah.
Yeah, we're out again. Josh Mercurio was able to take the lead. I think you're going to see a lot of people on the high side going to be able to get it done with the new tires because you get a little bit more momentum on that first lap. Not sure what happened. I'm sure you're going to see it again in an accident.
Yeah. I was trying to see. So load her up and find out here. Currently looking for what's going on. We've got Sandy Gutierrez. Let's see here. Santi Gutierrez is around in the 81 with somebody else down there, though. Oh, yeah. The 23 got turned around. Who's the 23? Jarek Ravois. Getting knocked around like a pinball. Okay, here we go. We're going to go in slow motion because there's a lot to take in here. So it's, you know what it was? It was a fault of the weird restart because pace car went down pit road. Everybody was like kind of going, but then not going because the yellow flag was still up. And that's just kind of what caused that.
Yeah, just basically a accordion effect because the leaders hadn't gone and everybody's behind them thinking, well, why aren't they going? Why aren't they going?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What's happening here? Like, well, the flagman still had the yellow flag out, so.
And that doesn't happen very often in this game, but I have seen it happen occasionally on some certain tracks. Martinsville's one that will do that once in a while. And there's another track, I can't remember which one it is, but they do have a few tracks that will do that.
Sometimes the shorter ones, like I know on the super short dirt tracks and stuff, they're only like, you know, a third of a mile in length. In the README file, they say just turn yellows off. Because you can't, if the track's too short, the game can't do it. Or if you're going to run yellows, you can't run more than 12-car field because you can't, because 43 cars would actually come back around on each other.
Right.
And some of those shorter tracks actually limit the amount of people that can join them because there's not enough room for all the pit stalls.
So Josh Mercurio is going to start this restart on the outside. He chose the outside. They do the front two cars, or the leader does have the choice. Like I said, I think the outside's an advantage, at least on the start and when you're out front.
Right.
Frank Gomez down below him, Zachary Hall, Keith Hughes, Denny Carroll, and Jonathan Peavy. Jack Murphy's back in 8th. 9th is Cody Lemons, and 10th is Anthony McCurry. A different paint scheme tonight. He's one of the duck cars. Oh, Frank Gomez got it done on the bottom, though. They had a good start. Josh Mercurio is trying to get back down underneath them.
Very strong, these guys. It's been like the same top 5 to top 10 cars have been the same guys all night.
Zachary Hall just sailed it, turn 1 and 2 on the high side.
Yeah.
Trying to get past it. Does get on the backstretch, gets past Josh Mercurio. That was a pretty good move. I mean, that's a power move for that high side group.
Your favorite line?
Yep. If the tracks will do it, I love it. When I'm in my racing days, back then I always loved running the high side. Another one around on the backstretch, the 52. Not sure what happened, but
we will find out.
Zachary Hall was really pressuring Frank Gomez. He wants to get out there and try to get the lead back. He has led at least 6 laps tonight. Currently, right now, Frank Gomez is leading the most laps with 13. Josh Mercurio is second with the most led at 10.
A couple of very slow cars out there, and people had to check up. The 52 is going around, passing the field. Now, for those of you wondering, let's see here. Blue Chase. You got these cars out here running this big duck scheme this evening. Well, the reason for this is, and I'll show you, pit lane number 1 I'll hijack this camera. You can see, straighten this up a bit. Let's go for a fly around here. I'll show you. There's a great big duck over here. So something must have happened at Dover where they had this big, huge duck. So some guys run the big duck scheme because there's a great big duck. Over here in turn, what's that, 1?
Oh, yeah.
Nope, turn 3. So there's this gigantic duck. You can't see it on any of the track cameras. But the Tarnation TV patented drone camera designed by Tyler Milan himself, also known as 3Cam version 2.31. There is updated versions of 3Cam. I like this one.
There you
But
go.
this
with
massive
words.
duck is the reason for all the big duck stuff. Let's get a different angle from the duck. No matter where you are on this bridge, you can see the duck.
It's got
Unless
a great
your
view.
Cameraman
Great view,
is,
turn 3.
yeah. I wonder how much it is to stand here and watch the race. That'd be pretty cool.
I think they've got seats in that. They used to have.
On the walkways?
On some, there's one of them that's got seats at Dover.
Oh,
One
cool.
of them's you know, like just a way to get from one side of inside to the outside. There's one that actually has seats in it.
That's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put this back where I found it so we can see the exit of pit road in comparison with the traffic.
Interestingly, I guess it worked for him before. Frank Gomez, their current leader, took the bottom of the track, giving Zachary Hall the high side of the track. I'm not sure if that's a really great move. Zachary was really getting it done out there. Pace car was pulling down pit road. Let's see if we get the flag in the restart zone this time. It's a little late there. We're gone green.
At least before the line, anyway.
But Frank Gomez spun the tires a little bit on that bottom.
Fran was actually trying to take that away from him. Oh, door banging out there.
Josh Perry on
took a hit. Held on to it.
Peavy got just a little bit of tap there. Jack Merkel's back here running in the 6th spot. I think he'll be in 5th now. Yeah. You can see the lead, but we still got quite a ways to go. I think he'll sit there and kind of just pick them away as he can. Save some of them tires should we get a long green flag run.
Looking at the 85 car right here, I don't recognize Josh 2 car when he's not running in Josh's eggs.
Yeah, that's a sharp looking rig too. I mean, they did it. That's neat how they just kind of follow the body lines on that. It looks pretty cool.
Carnby Edward in the 68. There's Kinsey in the 18. Young in the 42. Seth Cole there in the 93, right next to Randy Waugh. Austin
Corey.
LaPlante. Yep, Corey. Michael Norman right there. Jarrett Lavoie. I can never remember Yankee's first name.
Which one is that?
19th spot. Matthias.
Matthias, yep.
RJ Bishop, Denny Carroll's out there in the 41. He's currently running in 20th.
I think he
Still
must
in the
have
lead
recently pitted.
Yeah.
He was up near the front there a little while ago.
Okay. Denny Carroll does have 1 pit stop made. 0 laps led so far. Ulysses Sandoval, that car's looking rough, but it's still running. It's still keeping good speed. Almost 160 going into the turns there. Even with a folded rear. Oh.
Keith Hughes currently in the 2nd position, who's our points leader. Jack Merkel right behind him. Jack's not going to make up any points on him if he doesn't get in front of him.
There's no Wetzel in that 49 bright red machine there. A little bit of internet issues on him.
That one is red.
That is red. That is as red as red can be. And there's George Gershon in the 72. We were talking about that car. a couple times. It's a nice, clean car, too. A lot of really good paint jobs out here. Christian Torres in the 4. Sandy Gutierrez in the 81. Trying to just go through the whole field here so these guys can see their stuff. The 47 of Gustavo Carrillo. Running in the 25th spot. Leaders are coming up behind him now. What will they do? Looks like the 32 is Zach's going to have to check up. He actually went around him, made it work, though.
Merkel took the lead around him. They had some great racing going on between Zachary Hall, Jack Merkel, and Keith Hughes. They were all kind of running, and at some points, 3 wide.
Well, see, and I got to give hats off to Gustavo there in the 47 because as a lapped car, you don't have to do anything. Like, you see a pack like that coming, just hold your line, and they've got to figure it out. And everybody did their job perfectly. He likes the middle line. He stayed on the middle line, held that thing straight as a pin, and then they just figured out a way to get around him. You can't get mad at anybody for that one. That was perfect. The leaders sometimes get mad at lap traffic, but it's not really up to lap traffic to pull over and park it. Like, you just got to get around me, dude. I'm not going to block you, but you could cause more problems by trying to move
Denny
out of the
Carroll's
way.
around the bumper of Keith Hughes, I think. Kind of just caught the beginning of it. Oh, Josh McCurrow spins out, letting off the gas for the caution. Loses it in turn 4.
Mercurio, you said?
Yeah. I believe Denny Carroll and Keith Hughes had just got contacted off the corner, sending Denny Carroll around, and then Josh Carroll is going into turn 4, sorry.
Yeah.
And he just decelerated so quickly that just lost the rear of it.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Pretty much all of your front runners are coming down pit road. Tires are so important here. It sounds funny. I always know what Anthony McCurry's car looks like. He's got a really nice car that he normally runs. I look and see a duck car, and I got to go,
Yeah. And that's it. When you come to Dover, they got that duck over there. You can see him up in the top right. They all run the big duck thing. I don't know what the big duck is. B-E-E-E-G. I don't know. It's a thing. We could probably pull somebody in here and ask them. You want to grab Austin LaPlante?
If he's got his mic muted. I don't know if he'll talk to us. We'll try. Austin LaPlante, Blaine Rod up in the booth. Can you hear us?
I can do a pretty good Austin LaPlante impression.
You can?
Yeah. Pretend you're interviewing Austin right now.
Austin having a pretty decent race tonight. You've been running really, really good all season. Been finishing really good. How's your night going tonight?
If you'd be quiet, I'll answer your question. Tonight's a great night. The team's doing great. The Dasani, Ford Focus, Toyota, Lexus, Corolla's doing fantastic in turn 1 especially. I'm having big problems with the left rear, but I think we just figured it out. We're going to take this 92 all the way to second place. I don't think we want to win tonight, but we're definitely good for second.
That'll be behind Jack Merkel.
Yeah. Okay, I got to go. Bye. Thanks, guys. Love Tarnation TV. Big fan. Massive. Oh, is it gone? I think that was me.
Oh, man.
Thanks for the interview, Austin.
Yeah.
See, the reason I asked for Merkel and Austin is because I have screens with their stats. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So, the number 92 of Austin LaPlante, currently 4th overall with 432 points this evening. But when we bring them in to talk to them live, they all have their microphones muted. But if you don't bind your mute button to your steering wheel, we're talking to them. They can hear us, but they can't talk back.
That's right.
Because they have no way to unmute their microphone. We'll find somebody out here who has an unmuted mic. Because now I got 2 screens. I use the Merkel screen. I use the LaPlante screen. So now next time it's a free for all.
Well, we got plenty down there that got their mics muted.
I think, yeah, now, like I said, now that I've used up my 2 screens, I have two spots. Now we can actually pick somebody who hopefully wants to talk.
I'm gonna have to say it, but Jack Merkel is out front, followed closely by Jonathan TV. Zach Hall's in third. Trey Kingsley is in fourth. Anthony McCurry in the 61 Big Duck.
The Big Duck.
Currently fifth.
Does Mercury have a mic on? No, he doesn't. Okay, I know Seth Cole does, and he's driving a Big Duck car. Next time we're talking to him.
Okay.
Okay, at least we know Seth will talk to us. I mean, maybe he won't. Maybe I'll have to do a Seth Cole impression, too. Hi, this is FRN.
Yeah.
Look at me, call a race.
I'm driving a Big Duck Toyota Camry with 3,000 miles on it. It gets great gas mileage. I just put 4 tires in.
Yeah.
So how'd you do on lap 3? Well, hold on, I got notes.
See, you mentioned the 3,000-mile thing. There was like an endurance race that somebody put on in this, and I can't remember how they did it. Wait a second. There's ducks driving these cars.
Really?
Yeah.
They made them duck cars.
Okay. There's ducks in the car, in the driver's seat. That is a duck.
While we're looking at ducks, Jonathan Peavy did take over the lead away from Jack Merkel, and now it's been taken over again from Zachary Hall. He's been very aggressive tonight, but I mean, not when I say aggressive, I mean he's not pushing people out of the way. He's just aggressively attacking the track, really, really good.
So do you think, like, with Peavy's actually been up front and then fallen back a little bit, and he's right back up the front again, so he's definitely one to watch as well. Get the yellow flag up again here. Now, you think Hall is just driving the absolute wheels off that thing just because of so many caution flags that we're having? It's worth just going for it, thinking that we're not going to have a full fuel and tire run?
So that's probably more of an advantage that he has than we have. We're currently in our 4th race at Maverick, so we don't really know 100% how these races usually go. But if that's probably, if they've been racing for 4 years and every time they hit Dover, that's the case, it's not a bad strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But the downside of that strategy is if all of a sudden we get a green flag run, you'll probably get close around the halfway point of that run, and you will just go backwards.
Right. Looks like the whole field's coming in now.
I'm one of the guys that when I'm running here, I usually run rather well here because, I'm can be good at saving and conserving my tires. But if you want to run around this track with somebody that really can, Jovan Anderson is master on this track.
Who's that?
Jovan Anderson, Ricky J.
Oh, yes.
He's put a whooping on me here. Unreal. That guy is just so smooth.
Some guys just have a thing for certain tracks, it's just in the muscle memory. You just know how to get around it. Now, when the server side will like change the grip a little bit or something, does that mess with much? Or there's a 3-car race off the pits right there. Does that mess up your line? Like, if you know how to really get around Dover, are you talking about maybe one version? Because there's like 20 different versions of this track. Does that strategy stay the same through all of them?
Most of the tracks that are out there are relatively the same. There's still always a bottom feeding track. I haven't raced on many of them that have been gripped up. I have raced at, they have Dover. Brian Ring did a Dover that the bottom groove still was the way to go, but you could run the top groove instead of just going backwards. This one here, like I said, when I practiced a little bit earlier, it felt like the top groove had a bit of bite to it. So I think you can run it up there, and that would change your approach too. But either way, it's you still, no matter what version of it is, a track that needs tires, You know, you want to try to save, especially if you get a green flag run, because you know, and then you got to look at where you're at, how many laps you have left. As we're getting pretty close to the halfway point. You know, how many you can do, about probably 40 to 45 laps on fuel. I imagine it's probably going to be more to the 45 side here because you have to lift for the corners. So it's not like some of the other tracks where you really, you know, you can really push that issue.
Currently focused on the 78 RJ Bishop. He did get credit for a lap led that last time around. He decided to stay out. Now he looks like there's a bunch of ducks back here. Christian Torres in first.
Start. 32 there. Zachary Hall did spin his tires just a little bit.
2 down on the bottom. He's able to hold on to it though.
We're running 3 wide for a while. Josh 2 just wisely, I think, decided that I'm not going to be here. He backed off and let him go. Let him get back 2x2.
Yeah, he misfired, I think, and got down on the apron. So the only way to kind of correct that is to slam on the brakes so you don't wash up the track. So
Austin LaPlante just kind of went up, tapped the wall there. Slight contact.
Back to first is Peavy again.
Oh,
he got around Torres.
A bunch of piled up there in turn 3.
We might be in a cool down point here. I'm in spectator cam. Nope, yellow is up.
That's a pretty good one. Jonathan Peavy's worked his way back up to the front.
Oh yeah, there's a few cars involved in this one.
Didn't see what started it, but
there was a car. It looks like there was a car disabled down in the middle of the track. Just going into slow motion mode here so we can see. Oh, it was Ulysses Sandoval. The car is mangled. He was actually down low. Somehow they got into him.
Yeah, he was involved in one of the earlier wrecks that got hit pretty hard.
Yeah, Dorsey, Anthony McCurry, the 22 there of, can't remember who the 22 is.
If you're reading the chat, Zion says the 000 went into space. He did. He cleared the fence.
Yeah.
These are the guys that we're watching in the replay there that do not have their pilot's license. They cannot control those things when they get in the air.
Do you want to see if we can grab Seth and see what's going on with these duck cars?
Sure, we can try to do that.
Looking for Seth Cole. He's here somewhere.
Yeah, he was hiding way down in the bottom in a different room, Fortnite room.
Seth Cole from the Flat Out Racing Network. This is Tarnation TV on the YouTube machine. You got us, buddy? Your microphone is muted.
No, I got you.
Cool. I don't need to do a Seth impression.
And I was looking forward to it.
I got some pretty good impressions. Watch back the broadcast, and you get to hear my Merkel and my LaPlante. Sorry. Austin LaPlante and Merkel don't know how to unmute their microphones. Seth does.
They're over in another TeamSpeak. We kind of have like a secondary TeamSpeak, so we're able to hear each other, and they don't have the ability to click out of their games to swap over TeamSpeaks like I do.
Gotcha. So the reason we pulled you up here, we're just wondering about this big duck thing you guys are running, because obviously Dover's got the big duck. What's the point behind all this? Explain this whole thing. We're confused.
So in 2023, myself and Nick went to the Dover Cup race, and out on the midway, they had a display for what is called the world's largest rubber duck. It was a big blown up duck. And after that, it just became like a running meme here for our group. And I don't remember what race it was last season that was before the Dover race, but Tate Dorsey accidentally got into me, and I wasn't angry about it or anything, but apparently he felt bad, and he knew about the meme that we had, so he put a big duck on the back straightaway here at Dover for us. So
nice.
Because of
That's
that,
cool.
we always run tribute schemes to the Big Duck.
That's very cool.
So it's totally an inside joke, and you guys even got like a custom track out of the deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, there you go. Well, we are back under green flag conditions, and you're just coming out of the pits here. So we'll let you get back at it.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Good luck.
Good luck, man.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. So that's pretty sweet. So they all run the duck, and
Yeah.
Dover had a duck, so they put the duck on the track.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what it was. You showed me the duck on the track. Didn't realize that's cool that we got the story behind that.
Yeah. The battle for first right here. Merkel in first. Zachary Hall directly behind him. Peavy in third right next to Mercurio. They say these names are all over the front of this race today. Of course, we got Cody Lamas in fifth in the 84 driving a duck car. Fran Gomez, Dylan Young, Josh Chu, Jarek Ravois, and RJ Bishop round out your top 10, currently lap number 73.
Yeah, and it's kind of good to see RJ Bishop back at it. He took 1 week off there. I don't know if he had a substitute driver for him or not. I'd have to look that up. But
Oh, yeah, you could get somebody to run your name, right? And they could put you
you're right.
to keep your points going.
Zachary Hall pounded the fence pretty hard there on the exit of turn 4 that time. Overdriving just a little bit, trying to catch up to Jack Merkel, our current leader. And Guy going for 3 in a row. About 50-ish laps or so to go. So
Yeah, next week is an off week. I'm guessing it's because Easter weekend is coming up.
well, that's cool. I was already planning on being here.
Oof. Yeah, almost every Tuesday we're here at Maverick, so thanks again for joining in.
Just gives me another day to do some other stuff.
Yeah, you'll find something to do, eh?
Oh, trust me, I'm busy.
Yeah,
This time of year, I'm busy.
it's racing season.
Yep.
Merkel pulling away here. Let's see if we get some up-to-date intervals here.
It's been
Last time out the
gapping.
line was 0.64. Let's see what happens here.
Seemed about-
0.62.
Pretty much, if you kind of look at the top, I'd say top 8-ish, been the main drivers that have been up front all night. I mean, the other drivers have come up and, taken the lead during the cautions or, not
Yeah.
pitting and stuff like that. But for the most part, about the top 8 have been kind of our group that have been up here off and on. RJ Bishop's just starting to come into it and getting up there, and Dylan Young is. Some of these drivers, they don't, they approach a race like this kind of like I do at Talladega, kind of run around and just stay out of trouble, and at the end of it, try to work my way up there. It's some of them approach it like you do at Talladega. Want to run up front all day long.
It's the thing, yeah. There's going to be accidents. If you can keep the car clean, you're going to be passing some guys who unfortunately have damage. But it's a long season. Every point counts. If you can keep the thing going, even if it's under power, you get in those precious spots.
Sometimes running out front here is a benefit, but the biggest thing about running out front, not all the drivers can do this. I think Jack Merkel is probably one that could, but just because you're out front, don't mean you want to go out and set qualifying laps.
No.
Yes, we've had a few cautions tonight, but it seems like it's kind of calmed down a little bit. Now we're, getting some green flag runs in. You want to kind of pace yourself to a good pace that you can, kind of run the distance. I don't believe we can make it on fuel anyways.
See, and it's interesting here at Maverick is because every week we come in here with an absolutely stacked field, like right to the rafters with numbers. You got 35 plus drivers every single week. So we're running a full race, full roster. And if anybody's not really 100% familiar with the track, or maybe it's not their favorite track, or they're not really that good at a certain track, halfway through the race, those guys either they crash and have to retire, or they're just frustrated with themselves and they retire. So then it's just a little bit more space on the track too, right? When you got guys unfortunately having to leave the race. And then, now you can see Merkel pulling away from the pack here a little bit.
But you also notice where he's running. They were running the bottom of the track at the beginning of the run, and now that they've got a few laps, and now it looks like it's going to go green for a little bit. He's moved to the high side.
Yep.
And basically, what usually happens, depending on the tracks, like the biggest part of it. But if you have a track that has a better grip on the outside, and a track like this one here, or like we talked before about Michigan BR and such, if you run on the top side, you actually save your tires better.
Yeah, because it's not you're not pushing as hard. It's smoother up there.
You're not pinching the car down as much as you would. You're not trying to make the turning radius sharper.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're taking the longer way around the track is actually easier on the tires.
Yep. This track, I'm like I said, driving in, practicing it a little bit. This track had that kind of feel to it, which it's like the Rock, Michigan BR, quite a few of the BR tracks were good for that. I know that the Atlanta BR was a little too good for that. The top groove was just a little bit too big. Oh yeah, Merkel just bounced off the wall there. Well,
see, now BR, for those of you who don't know, stands for Brian Ring. When this game was released in 2003, he kind of went into the settings of the track settings and was able to just create multi-groove tracks.
Yep.
He didn't just grip them up like sandpaper. He actually created multiple grooves. So if you were a fan of running in a different area, because a lot of the tracks in the original release were pretty much low lines. Get it down on the left and hold it there all day, and you're going to win.
That's like what we talked about last week about the Richmond BR. It wasn't like Atlanta or Michigan where that was where you needed to be. All of that he did a really good job, I think, with that, is because normally at Richmond, the stock track, there's just no bite on the outside. It's so hard to, especially if the double file restarts, try to get down there. But with the BR track down there, you actually could pass on the outside. Now, you couldn't run like Merkel is right now. You didn't want to be running like that all the way around the track because it just wasn't going to benefit you at all. But you had a little bit more grip up there where you could actually do some good side-by-side racing.
Now, is Brian Ring still around? Because, I know the name because he's like a legendary track modifier guy who's been messing with Papyrus tracks for 25 plus years.
I haven't heard that he's made any new releases or whatever. I do know he did have a website where you could go get them, but I haven't really gone out and looked to see if he's still out and still doing it.
I believe did he not get a cease and desist or something? Because when he was doing this, he was also doing it when Papyrus was still in business. And I'm not sure if that was frowned upon or anything, or it's just an I&I change. I can't see it being too crazy, but he's one of those guys who didn't change. He only changed the code of the track, like the configurations, the configuration file. That's what an I&I is.
Yeah, there were some people that went and made new mods, but the way they did it, there was a kind of like the best way I could explain it was almost like a Rolex sports car series mod.
Yep.
They got in a lot of trouble for doing that.
Oh, they were probably modding the executable.
Oh, they were doing everything.
And that's illegal, yeah.
Yep.
It looks like Zachary Hall is around. They fell back to about 10th position.
I hear a lot of cars clutching it as I was kind of going around on that last run, so they were probably getting close on where they may or may not be able to make it on fuel.
He got really loose. Zachary Hall was running up front. He got away. He got really loose all by himself, I think. Oh no, the 6 got into him. 23 checked up and stayed out of him. 23 looks like he'll be all right. He'll need new tires, but so the 32.
most of your front runners are coming down pit road. Now, I know we're about 30. We're going to probably go back green with around 30 to 28 to 30 laps. Pop that thing off with fuel. You can go the distance, but should a caution come out, you'll still see people come down and get tires.
Right. So from here, if we get green the whole entire way, they'll be all right, but you'll be definitely having to conserve a little bit of tires, I think.
Right. I think what you'll probably find, and there again, it's just a lot of it depends on how aggressive that you get.
Right.
Because if you get too aggressive on it, you can burn the tires up, and then before you know, you'll either blow a tire out, which can be troublesome if that happens while you're on the bottom side of the track. Somebody's going around the outside of you, your tire blows out, you're going to go to the wall, and there's nothing much you can do about that.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see if we go green from this point on. I know they can make it on fuel, just a question of can they make it on tires. Kind of looks like that Frank Gomez there must have got an end along this line penalty for speeding on pit road. He exited the pits and pulled right to the bottom, and everybody's driving by him.
Black flag on Seth Cole as well.
That could be just where you enter pits here, because it's so easy to, when you pull into pit road, to actually pass somebody that stays out on the racetrack.
Oh, okay.
And I've had that happen. You have it happen here. You have it at Martinsville, and you really got to get on the people about it. If you're not pit, go to the next car in front of you. Sometimes people will stay out thinking, well, if I go by them, so you're the car behind them. If you say, if I go by him, I'm going to get him in trouble or something like that. Well, what happens is people lag back, and then that's what usually gets people caught when they go on the pit road. They get caught with a black flag for passing the car.
So it's like almost like the wrong person is getting the flag. It's getting the penalty.
Yeah. But it's like I said, any league that I've ever been to and running, I've always made sure that they understand that if you're going to stay out, that's fine. If the pace car is the next car in front of you, get to the rear.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed it, but we have two Coca-Cola cars that go up, so tire spin there.
Randy Wall.
Yeah. Well, somebody in front of Randy spun the tires, and Randy got in the back of him because Randy didn't spin the tire. Then when he did, kind of an accordion effect, and it just went a little haywire.
There he goes. I was focused on the pace car, so I'm thinking he should be coming out. He is definitely coming out. And we will check to see. I was zoomed in pretty tight on some of them cars there, so... Let's see exactly... I don't know if it was Randy that spun the tires or if it was somebody in front, you said?
Yeah, I think it was the car in front of him, spun the tires a little bit. Randy got in the back of him.
Yeah, it looks like the 14 wasn't tight on the 6 like he should have been. Yeah, it was just a delayed start.
We're talking about other things there going along. While we're away talking about that, Jack Merkel managed to sneak his way back up near the front, back in the lead with Trey Kingsley right behind him, Josh Mercurio, RJ Bishop, Jonathan Peavy, and Dylan Young in the top 6. Have two. The 31, I think, is the 32, are Coca-Cola Lexuses. Sharp-looking rigs. Seen the 32 up front. Zachary, is it?
32 should be Hall, I think, yeah.
Yeah, Zachary Hall. He's been up front off and on all night, running really good up there, too. Another one of our broadcasters out there, not our broadcasters, but Flat Out Network broadcasters, Michael Norman out there in his Pizza Hut Toyota Camry, sharp looking rig.
I like that 129. That's a cool looking car too. It's not black. It looks like it's almost got a gray fleck. And this is, you know, that's cool. Roy Family Construction's a sponsor there. Of course, it's Rich Roy.
I tell you, I like the 72 of George or Jose, or I'm not sure how they're going to say
it. It could
this.
be Jorge, but it might be George, yeah.
Yeah. Poncho there. That car, I just love the way that it's subtle, not overbearing. They got the nice little blue accents to it. I've always kind of liked the looks of the Dodges. Somebody asked me once, I used to run the Chevy all the time. They asked me, well, why'd you go to a Dodge? I like the dashboard.
Oh, really?
Yes, got a better dashboard. These cars have each, like Toyota, they all have their own distinctive dashboard. And the Dodge, to me, is the best one. It's easier to see your temperature gauges and stuff. Getting ready to go back. Green flag, is that? A few spinners of the tires there, but they all kind of get it straightened out. Keith Hughes kind of, I think it was Jonathan Peavy, got a little bit of tire spin going on. Keith pulled down and just gave him a chance to get it corrected up, but didn't want to get rear-ended in the back end of it, as it looks like he's already got a bit of damage on the back of that car anyways.
Oh, it's tight out there. The 42 goes around. The ducks are teaming up on him.
Around and around. Big ducks hit the whirlpool.
Yep. Catastrophe has struck. That's the first caution tonight. No, it's not.
It's the first caution that got all the ducks in it.
Yeah, it was the first caution on that lap. The first caution that gathered all the ducks. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I covered up my GNL browser just a little bit. I can see that we've done 40 laps under yellow, but I can't see how many we've actually had. Do you have your stats running?
I do. We've had 12 yellow flags for 39 laps so far tonight.
Right. Current fastest lap of the night, Zachary Hall with 162.7 miles per hour. It's a 22.196 second lap average.
He has been. Oh, we got a little bit of gamesmanship going on there. We're only about 20 laps. When we get back to going green, we'll be about 20 laps to go.
These guys will commit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you will. The biggest thing of it is if you start looking back there to the back of the pack, you know, if you were to want to be one of those drivers that came in and got tires. Now, we haven't gone, 40 laps on tires, so that not going to be that big of a difference. And it's not as easy to pass here, but I mean, you'd probably make up a few spots, but I don't know if it would be wise enough to be able to get it all the way up to the front.
It's a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good news is likely about the top 10 or 12 did not hit. So still a good advantage for the drivers that are up front. But, if for, let's say, Jack Merkel and Trey Kingsley were the only ones that stayed out, everybody behind him came in and pitted, they're in big trouble.
That's part of the gamble, right? I mean, you're like, I'm going to stay out. And then everybody behind you goes, and you're like, oh, damn. You end up being the only guy who stayed out. Now you're just going to get eaten.
When you're the last guy of the ones that stayed out, and everybody behind you got fresh tires, you're going to get swallowed up.
Yeah.
Nothing worse when you say, nobody else behind me will pit, and then they all do, and you're like, here we go.
Yeah.
Lights out on the pace car.
Remember, next week we got it off, and after that we go back to Talladega, and then after that Sonoma.
Sonoma's the one that you aired the race for him last year, and you said it was a great race. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
If I recall, Merkel was up front the whole time, so it'll be fun. Sonoma's a fun one. The road courses are cool because they're very limited yellow flags because they're such a long tracks, and the fact too that the field gets pretty strung out because there's a lot of different levels of skill on road courses where you're not really going to be racing 3 wide, 9 rows deep at a road course. You know, it's going to get, everybody's going to find their spot pretty quick. And if everybody just settles down and just picks apart picks away at it, it ends up being a very entertaining race because it's a little less chaotic than these tight little speedways.
The only car up front that spun the tires that time was the 18 of Trey Kingsley. Just, he got on a little bit, got a little loose, and it cost him a little bit. Still got second spot. Jonathan Peavy right behind him in third.
Dorsey run with no trunk lid. The number 6, they're all crunched in the back, but the thing's still moving.
Yeah, I think Keith uses the same way. There's a few of them in the back end of it speed up.
The great thing about the Monster Mile, though, it's only a mile long, so if you could take a little bit of damage, you could still be up there. I mean, look at this. Tate Dorsey in the 6th, he's running in 4th position right now, and he's keeping pace. But his whole rear end is crushed right up underneath the gas tank.
Sometimes, though, that rear damage will have a tendency to loosen the car up a little bit. Now, some people can't drive it that way. They don't like it that way. There are other drivers that you get into a fixed setup where you have to have a setup that's kind of good for all. So, I mean, it's a car for some drivers that like a loose setup. It's going to be a little tight for them. But sometimes when you back it into a fence like that, it actually loosens the car up so it actually handles better.
Yeah, and the reason it's loosening up because your rear spoiler, that all that air pushes the car down. It's still doing it, just not the way it should be. So it's a little bit less air resistance back there.
If you kind of look at it, most of the spoilers in the back of the car, they do have a little curve to them, but they're pretty much straight across the back. And you look at the 6, it's kind of rounded quite a bit more. Plus, you got the air coming out underneath it a little differently, which is going to kind of cause the back end to not be as snug to the track, which we call loose.
Yep.
Like I said, some drivers, that will be an advantage.
Kinsey looking underneath Merkel.
Kind of poking it in there a little bit. We're getting down to it. We're pretty much around 13 laps from the end.
He's right there. I mean, Merkel's been dominating this race. He's led 50 laps.
Pretty good for here.
Yeah. Trey hasn't led any. Peavy has 11. Mercurio has 10. 17 by Zachary Hall and Fran Gomez. Also with laps led Christian Torres and Seth Cole. So out of 39 cars, there's only been like 6 lead changes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lead changes out of 39 cars. We're
back in the caution.
Yeah, we're dusting the place out.
We're going to probably go back green with 10 to go.
And then we go into no yellows within 5, right?
I believe that is correct.
Mm-hmm. Lamas is around. Norman's involved. Carol.
Now, with 10 laps to go, it's interesting to see. I'm going to try to keep track. Does anybody go down pit road?
The 32 tags Hughes.
2, 6, 86. Just couldn't. I think that might have been. No, it wasn't Gomez. The other monster car.
Torres.
All went down pit road. That'd be interesting.
So it's almost like a 50. Oh, we got a little bit of a tussle on the front straightaway there. There's actually a guy running across the track. It looked like he dropped his soda pop over the fence. He had to avoid the pedestrian. It's kind of a 50-50 split for coming down.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a little bit. No, maybe. Almost a 50-50 split, yeah.
You had about 3 or 4 cars from the front pack that went. Then a lot of the guys behind them, and some of them were in that incident anyways, but
yeah,
they come down and take 4 tires. Now, it'd be interesting to see who actually comes out in the front of that and how far they can make it on these new tires. They're going to have about 10 laps to go, give or take.
And checking the stats, it looks like Noel Wetzel in the 49 is the first car a lap down. So Michael Norman just retired. Zachary Hall is retired. Steph Thomas, Ulysses Sandoval, Matthias Yankee, Rick Johnson, Jade Atkins, Benjamin Snyder, Alfew Panicia, Jessica Shelton, Shannon Milliken, and Mark Snyder all out of the race.
So the first car that came off from pit road is Jonathan Peavy. So he's going to currently is in the 14th position. They're starting to stack up. I believe their lights are going to be off on the pace car. They are. We're going to get ready to go. I'm going to kind of watch him just for a minute. I want to see what he does, whether or not he can make up any time in that, this short little run we're going to have.
Who are you focusing on?
Jonathan Peavy, number 2. The first car is on the high side, which could be good, could be bad. And the 6 also of Tate Dorsey. Two of the first drivers that came down and took tires. The 69 in front of them did, but I think he might have only taken 2.
Yeah. And still in good position. There's enough time left. Oh, they're stacking up. Yep.
Big stacking up. Jonathan Peavy unfortunately had nowhere to go. He's got caught up on a few of those trying to get going.
Front straightaway is a mess. Yellow is out.
They are racing back. So first car that did pit, that made it through all that, was the 69 of Adam Cole.
He's got a lot of damage, though.
Yeah.
But he's up there. It doesn't really matter, right? I mean...
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like we talked about, it's all that rear damage. It might be helping him out. But I think, I didn't check. I think he wasn't the first car to come down through. Jonathan Peavy was the first car to go into pit road. Unless there was something that slowed down Jonathan, I think he probably only took 2 tires. So, which is an advantage, obviously, but not 4.
Yeah, like a time advantage on pit road. You're spending less time on pit road, only taking 2.
Right. And it'll give you a better car than anybody that's in front of you. But
right.
Anybody with 4 tires is going to have a little bit more grip.
Yeah, and under yellow, you're kind of juggling that decision, right? Like, okay, well, if they take 2, they might be in front of me, but then it's a yellow flag, so I'll just be right behind them on a restart anyway. You can jump all over them. But track position and, maybe those guys are good on scuffed up lefts. Makes the car turn a little better, maybe, There's all kinds of things that can happen.
Little strategy, little whatnot. Randy Waskin himself currently running in the 6th position. With probably, I'd say we're going to be getting close down to about 5 laps to go.
Which will put us inside no more yellows at this point on. So it should be interesting.
Green flag drops. It all stops. Just put your foot in it and go.
And that's enough laps. Like 5 laps is a long time because if something happens and they can't get the track cleared.
Josh McCurry just got on the gas a little bit and lost it and caused them to stack up a little bit there. So it's so easy to just get on the throttle, being in first gear, and spin it.
Yeah.
Drivers are scrambling to get back in their position.
Lights are off, so the pace car will leave the track, and then we'll never come back out again. As we are within 5, Maverick rules clearly state that it's go time, 5 to go.
See if Anthony McCurry's got anything for Jack Merkel. Jack chose the outside. He's been running pretty good there on the restarts.
He's been running that, like you said, he's been running that high line most of the night anyhow, so that's where he wants to be.
It's like Randy Watts spun the tire.
Yeah.
Got it squared away.
Merkel just pulling away.
Adam Cole, currently, gonna see here, he is currently in 4th place right now. He was the first car that has the fresh tires. Oh, Anthony McCurry spun on the front stretch.
Yep.
Adam Coyle's just going to get underneath the 42 of Dylan Young. He's trying. He hasn't quite got it done yet. Dylan's not making it easy on him.
The rear of that car is basically dragging on the track. It's got so much damage, but here he is up in the front. That's amazing.
Down to it. He's got to get past the 42 if he's going to catch that 24 Jack Merkel.
Got a good run off that corner.
He said them newer tires. Jonathan Peavy's back there. Kristen Torres, too. There are 2 drivers that went in, took 4 tires.
Right to the bumper. He's looking for it. He's looking underneath him. There's only a couple laps to go here.
Got to be careful. Kristen Torres is right there. See, now that's those fresh tires.
Yeah. A car with that much rear end damage is able to actually catch Merkel's going to try to.
All 3 of those cars that are right around Merkel, of all the 3 of the drivers that came in and took tires. And you got the 6 of Dorsey coming a little bit further back, coming as well, and he's another one with 4 tires.
Peavy underneath Cole now. The lead has changed a few times in just one lap.
Peavy's going to be the victor tonight. Jonathan Peavy, sorry. That's it. Just going in there and getting them tires.
Wow. Unreal. So much change in those last 2 laps. That was crazy. Cole was able to get Merkel, and then Peavy was able to get Cole all in the span of the last 2 laps.
Yeah, it's just that's how important tires are.
That is, yeah, that's 100% the definition right there. And Merkel did not get tires, and he's going to have to settle for a 4th place finish. Well, congratulations to Jonathan Peavy. What a great we were watching him the whole race, front to the back to the front again. Led 12 laps, Merkel led 62. So Merkel will get the bonus points for leading the most laps, but 4th place points.
We got a 3rd place finisher for tonight, Christian Torres. Ben, I don't know where he is in points. You have that information. I don't, but he kind of ran around mid-front all night, and then there near the end, pitted, got 4 tires, and 4 tires seemed to help you out quite a bit. Get you back up near the front of the pack. Think you could have gotten if you had a few more laps, Christian?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. This is I really appreciated this interview. I think I have the best, one of the best strategy to pit with 11 laps to go. I try at the middle of the race. I tried something different. I want to go to the front, just to know how good was the car. But I have damage because my keyboard was a struggle. I have some problems with my keyboard, so that's why I was running at the end of the pack, trying to avoid all the wrecks in the middle of the pack, back to the pack, because it was very difficult to pass and very difficult to avoid. When I pit with, I think, 12 laps to go, I don't remember. I think I had an opportunity because the guys in front was the guys in front were spinning his tires under the restarts.
Yeah, we figured that we were curious to see how many of you guys that decided to go and pitted there that late into the run, how far you guys would make it up through there. It was enough cars that stayed out. I didn't know if you guys would be able to do it, but all three of you guys made it through there and worked your way to the front. So that was actually a pretty good, a pretty impressive run there. Stayed out of trouble most of the night. You got into a couple of those incidents. It's kind of hard to avoid them. Some of those were blocking the whole track. But all in all, I mean, I think it was a good finish for you. That you should be doing pretty good in points still. You have been finishing up near the front on most of the races.
Currently,
Yeah,
17th.
I really need that finish. I really need that finish. But the 2 car was really good on the outside. I was trying to fight with the 24 and the 68, but the 24 blocked me on their 2 laps to go, and I lost the momentum. So that's why the 2 could escape and win the race. But I really want to try to fight with the 2 for the win.
Well, congratulations on your 3rd place finish. We're going to give you the floor so you can thank the people that get you here. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you all the guys who came here and make this race funny, because it was funny. It was really funny. I am so upset for the 3rd place because I want to win, but it's okay. I take it. So really fun race. I hope to have a good race too. To Talladega, I think. No, the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, get a little vacation.
Yeah, and thank you for my partners from NASCAR High Speed League who work together. We are working together to have a great strategy and have an opportunity to win races here. So thank you so much.
All right, congratulations on your 3rd place finish.
Thank you. Oh,
Ah, you cut him off.
I did. I'm sorry about that. Now,
That sounded like it was going to be awesome.
yes, I know. That
Sorry,
was my
Christian.
bad. But Adam Cole, can't find him in TeamSpeak, so I think he left. So we're going to go right straight to our victor tonight, Jonathan Peavy. Pitted late, 4-tire strategy. You were one of the first cars. I think Adam Cole had got out there just ahead of you on that, but I think he only took 2 tires, but we all know now. I was going to ask him that. And you made your way through the fact and all the way out to the front. Good race. Tell us a little about it.
Well, I was able to run out front for most of the race. I got caught in the back a couple of times, managed to avoid most of the wrecks and get very, very minor damage in the ones that I didn't avoid. But I mean, the racing at the front was great for the most part. There were a couple of guys I had some issues with, just crowding, which is Dover. But no, I was very, very surprised to be able to make it past from 15th to 1st within those last 5 laps. When I came out of the pits at 15th or 16th, and then we had 5 laps to go, I fully expected that to be a wash. I did not expect the tires to be that much of a difference.
Rod called that one because he was watching you specifically. He's like, well, he got full service, so let's see what happens. And Rod called that one. He said he was saying it the whole night that tires were a massive deal here, and Rod knows his stuff.
Yeah, no, it was huge. Tire saving was a big deal on those, especially on those longer runs that we had. You had to really save from the start of the run, otherwise you just go backwards after about 10 laps. Because we had several runs there where we would run 15, 20 laps, and if you didn't save from the start, you just started going backwards.
So they fell off that quick, the tires?
Oh, yes.
If you did not start from the time the green flag flew or dropped, if you did not start saving tires in turn 1, then you were going to go backwards after about 15 laps at the most.
Wow.
Yep. That's Dover.
It would burn that right front off, and you would just slide up the track, and you would have no grip on the front end.
And what's the fuel?
Fuel, get about 48 laps. And I mean, in practice, I was able to run a full fuel run on tires. Now, my lap times were 2.5 seconds slower, but I was able to make a full fuel run. And I had kind of hoped to be able to do that tonight. That was I had contemplated at one point, whenever we got to 30 some laps to go and we'd had a good long green flag run, I contemplated pitting early to just make a fuel run and get tires and be there to the end. But I decided against it, and I'm glad I did.
The amount of cautions that you guys had tonight, it was really hard to formulate a good strategy kind of like that, because if it was a green flag run, a short pit can save you and really move you ahead, but you can't do that when you really don't know when the cautions are going to come out. And then obviously none of you guys really do, but the amount of cautions you have, you didn't know when and if you were going to get a long green flag run.
Yeah, no, that's the problem, is you really couldn't. And it was one of those, the way I determined if I was going to pit or not, did we make 3 green flag laps. If we made 3 green flag laps, I was pitting.
It's a good safe strategy.
And that was the last one, that last pit stop that I made. I think we had 10 laps to go whenever I made that pit stop. And I was very surprised the front 2 and then most of the other people did not make pit stops.
Yeah, me too.
I was shocked out of my mind, because we had already run 5 or 6 laps on those tires. And I knew that if I didn't pit, then anybody that did pit was going to be just blowing my doors off.
I think that was a good strategy.
I went ahead. I made that decision. I wanted to get those tires because it's not just the speed differential. You can maneuver. Because with the fresh tires, you can pull it from the middle top lane down to the bottom, and the guys that are on older tires, they can't. They're stuck wherever their car finally decides to turn. They're stuck in that lane.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's a good strategy to use. You want to keep good tires on there, especially at Dover, all the time. So that was an excellent strategy.
But yeah, no, it was a fun race. I'm a little disappointed it took me this long to get to the winner circle, but here we are, and I'm finally here. I plan on having several more of these over the next season.
Well, you got it now. You can't take it away from you. So. Well, congratulations on your first place. I don't know where you are in points. Blaine knows that.
I'm not in the points battle right now. I missed the first 2 races of the season. I had to work out of town the week of Vegas, and I did not qualify for Daytona.
So you're 50-50 then.
Yeah, but I made it the last race. Don't remember. I think I finished top 10 or so, maybe 15th or something. Where was it? Richmond? Yeah, I think it was Richmond. I finished 15th or 18th or something like that. And I mean, I was able to run up front for the most part there. Richmond is very low on my list of favorite tracks. It would be easier to tell you the tracks that are below Richmond than it would be to tell you the ones that are above Richmond.
Yeah.
But Dover is a driver's racetrack, and Dover's always been good to me.
So you finished 24th at Richmond.
Yeah.
You're a little up. But you're close.
I was hoping.
Oh, I might have spelled your name wrong on the screen here. Is it Jonathan or Owen?
It's Owen, but to be honest, I've been fighting that my entire life, and there's just sometimes you just pick your battles, man.
Because I just looked up your points, and I noticed I spelled your name wrong. You're currently sitting 44th overall, but this is definitely going to be a big bump for you with the 185 points walking, or probably 185 points walking out of here, or maybe only 180. Nice. Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys doing the live stream for us. I'm glad I was able to put on a show for you for at least the last 5 laps.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, especially when Rod brought it up with the tire game. And we're like, I don't know. I'm like, maybe there's enough laps. And then, here we are talking to you. So
I really did not think there were going to be enough laps. I am not going to lie. I did not think I was going to have enough time.
Well, even the last 2 laps, like you were able to get around Cole, and everything changed, and everything changed again that quickly. It was very, very fun to watch.
I think coming to the white flag, I was 3rd or 4th, and those front 2 guys, I think Cole was the other one who was right there with me. But those front 2 guys, I think he got pinched down, and so he couldn't really get a good run, and so I was able to get a good run on him and get underneath him on the white flag lap. And I do feel a little bad because I did pull a little bit of a dive bomb on him on turn 1, but it was the last lap, and any other time I wouldn't have made that move, but I didn't wreck him, I didn't wreck myself, so I say
It worked. Exactly. If it works, it works.
Congratulations on your first place. You got a bunch of people I'm sure you want to thank. The floor is yours.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of them tried to race over here, but they didn't really get a chance to. But the guys over at the KVM Motorsports, they're a good group of guys. I've done a lot of racing with them, been able to keep in with those guys, and they're a good supportive group. I want to thank Ben for putting on this race and putting on the series, even though it has its ups and downs. And tonight it had a lot of rough goings. But I mean, the fact that he's able to get 39 people in a series is impressive.
Yep.
And so that's the thing, is you just gotta, if you keep 39 people in here constantly, then you know what, you got to be doing something right. But appreciate all those guys that work to do all the points and set up the tracks. The setup tonight was, I really enjoyed driving it. If you didn't burn your tires off on those first 5-10 laps, then you could make it do what you wanted to later in the run. But yeah, I appreciate all those guys, what they do. Some of the guys that I was racing around tonight, Keith and Jack 24, and some of those other ones, they're good top 5, top 10 guys that are usually up there, top 5, top 10. They're a good group of guys to race against. So, but I appreciate it, fellas. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, Jonathan. Congratulations, man. Yeah, we'll hopefully be talking to you again before this season's over.
Oh, I hope so. If I can get tires like that and nobody else will, then maybe you will.
That's it.
Good job, buddy.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Well, there it is.
So now I just did the math.
And I know how to spell Jonathan now.
32-point swing.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that Jack Merkel made 32 points more than Keith Hughes did tonight. So I would assume, I don't know, that they're going to get it done and figure it all out, but I would assume that that puts Jack Merkel out in the points lead.
I would think so, yeah. I would think you're right, because he was only 6 behind him coming into this and finished, like you said, 1, 2, 3, about 5 or 6 spots in front of him. So, and
Merkel
it gives Jonathan a big bump too, with the 180 points from this race for him being down there in like 44th or whatever it was. So if he's able to make the races, definitely a contender.
Jack Merkel made 170 points on the night with leading a lap and leading the most laps, so that helped him out quite a bit. Keith Hughes made 138 and did not lead a lap tonight, so that's 5 extra points there that that would have helped him out a bit. Right.
Now wouldn't that be something, eh? Look back on that later, be like, if you only had that extra 5 points.
Yeah, but so what would he have had to done to get it?
Mm-hmm.
Would he have had to stayed out and possibly led a lap and then pitted afterwards, or stayed out and tried to stay out there with old tires and then ended up going backwards anyway? So
right.
I think his strategy was to just try to do the best that he could. You didn't really want to get stuck in the back here, especially on them restarts where a lot of people had trouble spinning the tires, so that you could get yourself in a lot of trouble there. So I think he probably did the smarter move just by pitting with everybody else and trying to get himself out front.
I'm thinking too, yeah, with Hughes finishing in 9th, if he took the gamble to stay out and lead a lap, but then you end up back in that knot like 20 and down, in a full house with like 40 cars on the track, there's a lot of points to be lost if you don't make the right call. If there was only 15 cars out here, maybe you try it. But the fact that you could literally lose 20 positions, that's a ton of points.
And as it is, he finished in the top 10. He finished 9th, but he finished in the top 10. You keep doing that, and if Jack has some rough nights, then he's back at it and back in the points lead.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, an exciting end of the race for sure to see that tire strategy come into play, and the whole thing we didn't know what was going on, but it ended up being a great finish.
That it did.
Rock and roll, man. So next week we are off. Make sure that you join us next time when we come back here to the Maverick Cup Series on the 29th of April at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Talladega Super Speedway. Talladega is always a crazy race. Well, the word super speedway. It's a big track, the biggest one. So that should be a lot of fun. And I'm sure there might be I'm sure too many people will show up for that race, and they're going to have to do some qualifying on top of some qualifying to make, to whittle the field down to 39. But
Talladega brings them out of the word work.
It does. People like Talladega. People like watching themselves on broadcasts. So I think that is going to be one to definitely tune into on the 29th of April. That will be our next race here. And then 2 days before that, on the 27th, we'll be live from Fluid Raceway, which is a brand new track. We're running that over there for the Cannon Hinnant 5th Annual End Gun Violence Memorial Race for Cannon. That's put on by Brian Wolf, and he's in cahoots with the boys at ASR to host that event. So definitely tune in on the 27th for that one. I think that's all we got to say. Do you have any final words?
A good race. Too many cautions, though, I think, but Dover. I mean, it's so easy hard at Dover not to have cautions. It's such a close, tight racetrack. There's not a lot of room, and especially when tire wear comes into play, people get a little tight, start drifting up into people. So other than that, though, I think it was a great race, great ending of it. Had a lot of more excitement there at the end with the newer tires coming up through the pack, and looking forward to. I'm not really looking forward. I'd like to be in the booth for Talladega, so that one's good, but I'm really looking forward to that Sonoma race.
Yeah, that should be pretty good. Yeah, a lot of variety here, man. I mean, you got to have these tight, crazy tracks and the big super speedways and the Sonomas coming up, and there's a lot of really cool variety here at Maverick. So we hope you stay with us for the rest of the season. Thanks again, everybody, for watching and subscribing and interacting on the YouTube channel. Even on a Tuesday night, we still got a lot of movement on the stats, so that's super cool. Anyway, thank you, Sir Rod Weston of Tarnation TV, for your assistance this evening. And if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Remember, keep your stick on the ice.